You have found Vagina Whispering, where we talk about everything from vaginas and orgasms to femininity, connection and love, intimacy, pleasure, intuition, menopause, and so much more. This is a safe place to have real conversations and make real connections. We're going to have a great time. We're going to laugh a lot, and we are going to fall in love with ourselves again. A quick note before we begin, the information we present here is educational in nature and is not medical or psychological advice, nor is it a substitute for seeking licensed healthcare services. Okay, let's drop you into the conversation. All right, everybody, we are back with Whitni Miller. Hi, Whitni.
I have a question for you. I would think with a lot of couples, sometimes things go well and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And then there are times when you're like, we're starting over here because it's hard for me to relax because I'm not feeling a lot of trust, even for yourself, much less the other person.
Yes.
How would you recommend people start over from a place like that?
Oh, I've got a couple right there right now. And what we've done is we go all the way back to laying out their boundaries with paper and pen. I need you to go through this worksheet and lay out your boundaries very clearly of your expectations of how you be treated in this relationship, because that's where we get trust. Trust is something that you give blindly. It's something without certainty. And that gives you a little mystery, because love is, I know you'll be there for me, but desire is, I don't know what's about to happen. So we have to mingle those things to keep vibrancy in a relationship. But if you communicate your boundaries and then your partner respects those boundaries, then we can start to build back to feeling safe.
I always tell people it's easy to love. It's so hard to trust.
It is, because everybody wants to say, oh, yeah, I trust my partner with my life. And I ask them, do you trust them with your feelings?
I saw that video earlier today.
Yeah.
Such a great question, though, because it's so true. People don't always cope well with the other person's feelings. I used to make everything about me because I had, I think, just way too much internal shame to be okay with he wasn't doing great in a relationship with me. And it made every conversation like impossible. So yeah, becoming trustworthy with your partner's feelings and noticing when they are with yours that's a huge concept in a relationship, any kind of relationship.
Just lead with curiosity. It'll keep you out of that place where you take things so personal. It's like you feel like you're being othered or being judged for being different. You just got to stay curious. Oh, I didn't know that about you. Tell me more.
And giving people the benefit of the doubt.
Yep. Got to do it.
So often I'll hear something, or one will hear something, and it's like the assumption, that's what you're talking about earlier, is you hear it, you assume you know what context it's coming from, you assume you know, and you don't give them the benefit of the doubt. And I think with all of this, intimacy, being open, talking about anal pleasure, talking about the yes, no, maybe list, benefit of the doubt. And trust that it's coming from a pure place. And then I love the concept of honoring afterwards and just being able to say, thank you for being that trustworthy of me. Thank you for being that open with me.
Yes.
For being vulnerable.
If we don't intersect vulnerability with security, you can't have intimacy, right? If vulnerability is taken, that's where we get trauma. And so you have to have vulnerability and security together. And that's how we get to intimacy. And you can do that in lots of ways. It doesn't have to be sex.
So that's a question, you are certified in the tag, in the trauma. So how do you think that process has influenced how you work with couples?
I went about it backwards. I got out here and I started doing intimacy coaching. And I have like my trauma training from yoga facilitation, but it just wasn't enough, because you can't talk to women and non-men about sex without bumping into sexual assault. That's just like a very real thing for more people than I like to sit with. It's very sad. It makes me enraged. And it's just, sex is this beautiful thing if you'll bring things like consent, respecting autonomy, tuning in, checking in, you can go to these places that are psychedelic. It's just so much more than friction between bodies. You travel, you transcend, but when you bring violence into it, you stop people's lives and you stop their ability to be able to let pleasure in. It just leaves them frozen and stranded. I wanted to be a better facilitator for people who were struggling with that, because not every therapist or mental health professional is set to do that either. And We just need more tools for these people to help them get out of there.
Feel very blessed not to have a huge trauma in my life because I have so much respect for individuals. And Noelle, you've shared your story on previous episodes. It's real.
It is. So I went and took the tag method because I've been looking at brain spotting because that seemed to be helping people with like really intense trauma and be able to come through it in the processing.
What's
Uh,
brain spotting?
oh, brain spotting. Yeah. So some people know EMDR. So that's
Oh,
like,
okay.
okay, so there's EMDR and then there's brain spotting. So EMDR is like moving the eyes back and forth while you're processing because the eyes are attached to the really primitive parts of your brain that predate non-verbal processing and stuff. Your eyes, they directly connect there. That's why they use the eyes in processing. In brain spotting, you pick a spot to look at. You don't move the eyes. So you look at one spot through the processing. In tag, what we've done is we've removed the protocol so that the client is in the driver's seat about how the session goes, so that we can completely hold unconditional positive regard for them. So that's typically what a therapist will do. You come in the room and the client says, "Can I move this chair?" Absolutely. "Can I dim the lights?" For sure. "Can we change the temperature in the room?" Absolutely. As long as it's not harmful to anyone, then you want to just facilitate whatever the client needs. And that is the most healing medicine to a nervous system, is to speak and to be seen, to speak and to be heard. I am visible, I matter, I'm here. And that's is just the biggest medicine that you can give to someone.
What inspired you to get into doing the coaching? Because you could have learned all this stuff just to improve your own life.
Oh, I did just learn this stuff to improve my own life, but I started getting on TikTok and talking about sex education because I love to talk about sex and people started gravitating to me. And then I really started getting late blooming lesbians gravitating toward me and they were like, "I'm out. I have no idea how to have sex with women." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm more than happy to teach you how to enjoy sex with women in all different ways." So I started out just like teaching strap-on classes and things like that. But as I started to talk to more and more people, I start bumping into the traumas and the blocks and things that keep people from letting pleasure in. And so then it started to get to be like a really meticulous pursuit that I was on. I started reading more like bell hooks, more sociology, looking at the social constructs of what people are bumping up against. And especially when you come out later in life, conformity is like a thick layer on top of you. And it really gets in the way of you having queer sex because you're like, okay, when a man and a woman get in bed, they put a penis in a vagina and it goes in and out and in and out. And it's okay, what if nobody here has a penis? Or what if we have two penises in the room? Or those situations, and it's what feels good. I don't know. And you don't want to explore because you don't know what you're doing. So you get frozen up because you want to do it right. And it's the only right way is the way that feels pleasurable to everybody who's consenting to be there. And that is vast. And because it's vast, it's scary. What do you mean? I can do anything? Well, you're like, just tell me what to do. I just want to know. Just tell me the steps. One, two, three, four, five.
But that's how we're trained. Not trained, but socially trained. It's
Damn
just
right.
this is
Yeah.
how it works. You take me out for dinner, then you kiss me goodnight, and then we go into the whole kit and caboodle.
That's right.
If you were a single 20-year-old, then that would happen. I mean,
Absolutely.
it was a checklist. Okay, now we're gonna stand at the door, we're gonna close it, you're gonna take some clothes off, we're gonna have a trail of clothes. The movies portray it every single
Oh yeah,
romantic, heterosexual, sexual, and not. Yeah.
absolutely. Every movie is we're kissing and then we're having sex in 10 seconds.
Oh,
And
and
then,
it was amazing.
oh, it's amazing. And we come at the
Every
same
time.
time,
Yes.
every time in each
Yeah.
other's face.
hmm
Oh, at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of here, simultaneous orgasms. Get the fuck out of here.
Thank you for saying that. Good
I'm
Uh,
so
God.
tired of that. I'm like, it might happen every once in a while, like Haley's Comet comes around every once in a while, but
89 years. Good luck. You get it once in your
like,
lifetime.
stop
And
making
Haley
that.
came when I was like 7, so that is just not even going to happen for me.
It's gone, it's gone. But I want to see people getting a cramp and trying to rub out a Charlie horse. I want to see you stumbling to get your socks off. I want to see somebody come and accidentally fart. And like,
Oh yeah.
that is real
hmm
sex.
That is. Or when your vagina farts, what is that called? That quick
Queef.
queef.
Get a queef,
Just
yeah.
get a little queef coming.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you had some
Mhm.
pounding, there's gonna be some queefing.
Yeah, they're gonna make us queefing. Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you I like what you said about women and men. When they're given an opportunity to say,
Mhm.
this is what I enjoy,
Yeah.
there's holy crow, a lot of blocks. But the other thing that I think
Hmm.
is important, so I'd like to talk about that, like what you coach your clients to do. But the
Yeah.
second thing is, as I've gotten older, those things have changed.
Yes.
Okay, I breastfed.
Me
My
too.
nipples are not, yeah, my
Me too.
nipples, they used to be like the best erotic zone for me. And now I don't know. It's gonna have to be in a real good mood for you to be down there. I don't know.
Okay.
So I think I would love, not, I don't want this to be about me, but I think what
Hmm.
happens when is it just still having that same conversation again? Okay, I'm gonna lick this spot and let's see if that makes you happy. I'm gonna lick that spot and let's see if that makes you. I'm gonna I'm answering my question for myself. Okay, go
No,
ahead.
you're good. You said you've been with your husband for 27 years. 27 years ago, are you the same person as her?
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, then. Neither is your
No.
body.
Exactly. That's an
Or your
understatement.
husband,
I,
or your
I
husband.
I don't masturbate the same way I did in my 20s. I don't expect somebody else to touch me in the same way as they
Yeah.
did back then. I liked a real vigorous touch then. Now I like it so light, it's almost like a feather. I just want it just like a teasing touch. Just
Oh,
drives me fucking nuts. I love it. So
I'm
I
thinking
have
we
to.
need to get a feather in our bedroom. That sounds fantastic.
There you go. Get
Jen's
some
making a list.
accessories. I'll give you an example from my life. My wife likes a completely different style of touch than me. She wants you to touch her erogenous zones immediately. No warm up, no teasing. You try to tease and build anticipation to get to her spots. She's just going to grab your hands and put them exactly where she wants them. She's direct and assertive. I never have to wonder what my wife wants. It's hot. So that's one
Yes.
option. You can just grab their hands and put them where you want them and do it just how you like and look them right in the face and be like, that's exactly how I want it. Are you paying attention? You can make it sexy. Yeah, it's called
I
positive
like how you got into
redirection.
somewhat of a bedroom voice right there. It was very funny. That's how
Yeah.
I like it, Date. Are you paying
Are
attention?
you paying attention? That's right.
Right
You
on.
got them. Okay. You're drawing a pleasure map. Make sure they're taking notes because you're not some code that needs to be decoded. You have the information inside of you. You are attached to that nervous system. You're a map. Let them ask you. This way, I am here. Want this here. But you can also guide them if you don't want to talk about it.
If you're the one that knows,
Yes.
because I think there is a huge part of our community that of people
Uh-huh.
that just don't even know.
But do you know what you don't like?
That's easier
That's
to talk
way
about.
easier. Yeah.
Start there.
Hmm.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Before I start coloring, I want to know where the lines are. So show me. You don't like it fast? Oh, good. I'll slow down. You don't like it with a lot of pressure? Let me lighten that touch. Just try some stuff.
And again, having the partner that doesn't take that personally. Because
Mm,
we're very much assuming that these two couples have this beautiful, trusting, loving, respectful relationship. And I feel very blessed to have that relationship with my husband. There's pretty much nothing that I would be
yes.
uncomfortable saying with him. And that is, I think, extremely rare. Please correct me if you think I'm wrong. People send us emails like, no, you're totally wrong.
Yeah.
We all are like this. So,
Absolutely not.
okay. So
No.
Yeah.
I was just making a real huge judgment there. And I was like, oh God. But so then what? Let's say you haven't built that trust of here are my lines and
Uh-huh.
someone, I mean, there's the trauma. So there you go.
Look, for newer couples, I can totally see that being an issue. Not
This
even
is
just, yeah.
I get into sexual candor before we have sex. Like, if you can't sit here and talk to me about sex, I don't want you to touch my body. So that's my boundary right there. If we're dating, I see the relationship is going toward us having sex, I need to have a conversation with you anyway about how I'm kinky. Like, hey, how do you feel about a hand on your throat? How do you feel about spanking? We need to have dialogue beforehand. That's just me personally. I know that not everybody gets into that, but I want to point out the importance of letting someone touch your body and you don't have this trust with them yet. If they don't trust your words, why are you letting them touch your body? If they can't respect what you're saying, you should not be naked with them. It's like getting into an adult activity with a childish person. If you can't take redirection from me, this is about your ego, so go fuck yourself.
And they
Literally.
probably would.
Yeah, and it's go have a nice day. I
Yeah.
can't,
Hands meet
Yeah.
your penis. Hands
I don't,
meet your
I
clitoris.
have
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hear women tell me that they've had men push their hand away when they're rubbing their own clitoris while they're receiving penetration from these men. Oh,
Oh
I know
no.
it's dangerous, like in those situations, just trying to get through it. But if there wasn't a present danger, I really would have just hopped off that dick and put my clothes on and left. Excuse
Hop off
me.
that dick. Mm-hmm.
Hop off that dick, put your clothes on and
Mm-hmm.
leave. Like,
That's the
Yeah.
but
title of the
yeah.
episode. Hop off
It,
that dick.
hop off that dick. Oh God, that's a
Yeah.
great title. If there happens to be a 16-year-old listening, which I highly doubt it, but if there happens to be a 16-year-old listening, that is, or a 13-year-old, that is
Hmm.
always what I tell kids. If you are not comfortable talking about sex, there
Hmm.
is no reason for you to even be contemplating sex. And
So good.
but
Yes.
you should see the 13-year-olds. They can't
Yeah.
even say the word sex, and yet
No,
they're being pressured to have it.
I know. I totally understand.
Kills me.
But I think that's the beautiful thing that you just said. If you can't talk about it, you probably shouldn't be having it because that
Well,
means
you
you
did
can't
too.
speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's important for you to do that because this is what a lot of women forget is like you never lose your autonomy. No matter what you're doing with somebody, you own yourself the whole time. And consent is reversible. You said you want to have sex, you change your mind, it's still your body. I don't care how far it went. Blue balls are a bullshit myth. Get the fuck out of here. I deal with my cramps every month. You can deal with this for what, maybe 30 seconds?
Oh my God, that's such a good point.
But also with your trauma training, I'm sure
Mm,
it's also reasonable to anticipate that when people have had those sexual boundaries crossed when they were
yes.
kids or young or just overpowered, and all the ways that happens to women, and it is like a
Hmm.
sickening number of women, not just women, but particularly women that deal with that, then
Yes,
feeling that sense of autonomy is something you have to like start from scratch to
it
rebuild, to
is.
be rebuild the trust. I let that happen, or we feel responsible
Yes.
for men's bad
Yes.
behavior when they show bad behavior. And so, I mean, it's
Hmm.
really being up against a lot to
It
support
is.
people to feel
Hmm.
free in this area.
It's absolutely. In those circumstances, I like to use the word security instead of safety because if your trauma happened in childhood, then safety is just a word in a dictionary. It doesn't have a direct experience for you. So when
Yeah.
you throw it around, they miss it. But I think what you point out is really important is doing that self work to have the
Mhm.
security. And that's why I say you want to look into vetting. So, like vetting a person before you're in any place where they could take advantage of you
Yeah.
because that's something that we don't teach in high school, and I have no idea why. I'm like, why are we not teaching our youth how to ask certain questions to get a feel for if someone is trustworthy? I realize there are the charming people out there we got who will watch and make sure that they answer the questions the right way. But there are also signs like when someone is trying to isolate you from your friends, like
Mhm.
that's a huge red flag. That's a huge red flag. If they're trying to isolate you, pull you away from your friends, that would be one
Hmm.
right there that I would be like, don't be alone with this person anywhere. And I probably would just stop talking to them entirely.
I love that you're, oh, and you know, what you're bringing up is such an important point about, and you were saying a few minutes ago about healing yourself and working on yourself when you know that you've
Mhm.
had trauma. And not everybody, I think, recognizes because
No.
sometimes everybody we know has had a certain, I worked in a group home for 10 years.
Yes.
Almost everybody that everybody else knew had gone through like a significant level of trauma. So it was just
Yes.
normal to everybody. And
Yes.
there's this thing in therapy we call reenactment, where you recreate situations where you felt no power because
Yep.
you want to feel like you've mastered that now. So it would be
Yes.
very common and normal. And I really
Hmm.
want people to hear this, to recreate or
Yes.
reattract some of these really terrible situations you were in when you were younger, because there's that part of you that wants to feel like, I can do it this time. I can do it this time. And you know
Yes.
what? Sometimes you freaking can't because
That's
you're
true.
attracting a really terrible situation to yourself.
Yes. No, you're talking about something so powerful that we do in BDSM and people like turn and sneer their heads at it is that people will recreate what happened to them with a safe person so
Yeah.
they can end the cycle. They can do what they didn't do back then. And like people who are unaware of this, they'll call it like, oh, you're re-traumatizing. It's no, you're taking their power back very specifically.
But you
Like
have to find, but you were talking about vetting the person
it's
to
it,
actually
you
be
have
safe
to.
and to learn what a safe person looks like and feels
Yes.
like and sounds like when you've been
Hmm.
exposed to not that, especially when you're a
Yes.
kid and a caregiver has crossed those boundaries with you.
Absolutely.
You're like, what the
Well,
fuck? How
yeah,
would I know what safety
right.
feels like? I've never actually really known that.
Safety to that person feels like being with a
Security.
perpetrator because
Yes.
oh, I can predict what's going to happen. I know these circumstances, so there's certainty in being
That's,
with a
yeah.
dangerous person.
Wow. Yeah. That's why you mentioned security and not safety.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Totally.
it can be more triggering to be in a healthy relationship because that asks for more vulnerability. And vulnerability is where the trauma got in. So as you're exposing more and more of that, it's like all this uncertainty is mounting. And because this person is offering you security and you've never experienced that, you're like, where's the trap door? Like,
Yeah.
when's the
Mm,
shoe gonna drop?
Hmm.
right.
Because no one's ever treated me good. What do you mean I can trust you? And then they really freak out. And I see that with clients a lot when I'm
Yeah.
working with couples and we're going down. And I have a 12-week program. So at about week 6, they get into some conflict. And I try to let them know, hey, this might happen because you're being vulnerable in ways you've never been before, but you have to hold each other and just slow down and just respect the pace. So
Mm.
yeah, the healthy relationship can be way more triggering because the toxic, or I hate to use toxic because it's been used to the point we've lost the meaning, but
Yeah.
Healthy,
an
unhealthy,
unhealthy relationship is feels safer because
and
it's
normal.
predictable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And isn't that why people run from good things? I mean,
Yes. Because
you
joy
run.
is hard
Yeah.
because it's scary. Who's going to take
Yeah.
this from me?
So you mentioned you've got a 12-step program, 12-step,
12
12
week.
course, 12-week. I
12
was like, oh,
steps.
I'm sure that I've heard
12
of a
steps.
12-step program. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Anywho, so where is that wine glass? Patreon.com, you've got a ton of stuff. I mentioned early on that your website is huge. You have hundreds of videos. Patreon.com/BDE moves is where they
Mhm.
can subscribe to a self-guided intimacy coaching class and all sorts of different things. So tell us what you've got going on. There's so much. I know you've got you tell us.
The main thing that I do is I have a 12-week program for couples. And so I take couples through this transformation of understanding how sex, arousal, and desire actually work. Because most couples are like, oh, if you're attracted to me, you want to have sex. And if you don't want to have sex, you must not be attracted to me. And we really dilute that down when there's thousands of reasons outside of that to not want to have sex. Maybe I've got vaginal dryness, I've got heart palpitations, I've got frozen shoulder, I'm stressed. There's unequal mental load in the relationship. So I feel like your parent, not your partner, and I've lost attraction to you because you're my child now. You're not my partner because you're
Wow.
not checking in about mental load.
That happens to so many couples. Oh
Yeah.
my God. And
Yeah.
you just talk to them. They're like, ah, it's just I have another kid. I
Yeah.
do not refer to my husband as another kid because
No.
that is not a thing that I want.
Women say that
Oh,
all the time because we've been socialized to take care of everybody else to create peace for ourselves. We don't speak up. We don't say, hey, I need you to take this off my plate because, oh, it's my job because I'm the woman. And that's what I mean about conformity. We'll spend 2 weeks doing that. Then we go into healthy conflict resolution. And then from there, they start designing the program how they want. Because some people want to get kinky and some people don't. And so you have those options to move through.
Mhm.
wonderful.
Wow.
Woohoo!
And this
Sign
is the
me
program
up.
that starts on March 20th, right?
That's my workshop. So that's where you can get a little
Oh,
taste with me.
okay.
That's just helping people with different libidos get on the same page because every relationship, there's different libidos. There's every, you're not going to
Mhm,
want to have sex at the same time every time. It's just not.
mm-mm. Oh, amazing. What else do you think our listeners should know?
Oh, that pleasure is your birthright, but it's also your responsibility. If you're sitting around just waiting for it to happen, that's all you're going to do is just wait.
Pleasure is your birthright, but also your responsibility.
Responsibility.
Hmm.
Oh,
Writing that down.
very
Hmm.
cool. This has been extremely enlightening. Sorry, Noelle, that I completely overloaded it
I
for the
know.
first 45 minutes. Yeah.
Actually, I think we evened out in the end, so thank you for that. And I do feel like whatever I was curious about after watching your videos and just hearing you talk and stuff from your website, I
Yeah.
feel like a level of sort of satisfaction from the things that you shared. You shared a lot of really valuable tips for people
Yes.
and shared some things about yourself and your own relationship, which keeps it very real. Because when it
Hmm.
feels like you've mastered this and I'm an idiot over here who doesn't know what I'm, but just it feels a little unbalanced. I appreciate that you bring a sense of authenticity
I
with all of
appreciate that.
the things that you say about this. So thank you for that.
Thank
I
you.
don't think you're very genuine.
That's all right.
I'm
There's
kidding.
always
That's not
one.
true.
We're gonna have to
That's
talk about
actually
that after.
no,
Yeah.
it's really interesting. Even on your Instagram, you just are vulnerable and you are
Yes.
yourself. And I have been on there, and even the video that is on your website, you're just talking. And
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between saying I know everything or hey, we're learning together. And I feel like
Mhm.
you are a little more than we're just learning together, but you're not coming at this like I know everything. And that really comes through
Oh,
in your
no.
heart and your energy. And so we appreciate that. I want to
Thank
make
you.
sure we honor your Instagram since we have dropped it 8,000 times. It's BDE dot moves. So big dick energy, BDE dot moves.
Mhm.
Highly recommend it. You're on there all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how you gave us an hour and 15
Change.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for spending time with us. It was
Oh,
extremely
yeah.
valuable. And
Oh, gosh,
we
my
hope to have
pleasure.
you back. And
Yeah,
anytime you want to
please.
bring up a topic, you're like, hey, let's talk about
Yeah.
only X. Let's do it.
All right.
Be
I
fun.
love it.
Okay.
Thank you
Yes.
so
Thank
much, Whitney
you.
Miller.
Very
Thank you for
passionate.
being with us.
Oh, thank you, Noah. I appreciate it. This is so fun.
Yeah. And thank you all for listening and being with us. And we look forward to catching up with you next time. Take care.
Thanks for joining us. To access the full interview on video, visit our Vagina Whispering channel on YouTube. If you have a topic you'd like to learn about, or if you have a specialist you'd like us to interview, please email us at vaginawhispering@gmail.com. And on a final note, while Noelle Dean is a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of California, she does not provide any psychotherapy or other licensed healthcare services as the host. Any action you take based on the information contained herein is strictly at your own risk. Please refer to the podcast disclaimer in the show notes for further information.